loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Before I get into the books, the rune, the new setup, everything, I need to give a huge amount of gratitude here. The video that I made yesterday talking about imposter syndrome, it was a moment in time in which one of my biggest wounds, my biggest weaknesses surrounding something I am so deeply passionate about, something I love so much, writing, and especially with these retrograde guidebooks, the ways in which they have worked in my own life, the ways in which the messages flowed. And every single book, I want to say just about every single book, I mention at least once, I just never expected it to come out like this. Never expected this to be the energy that I felt. And because of that, I genuinely care so much about doing the planets justice, doing the planets a service by sharing the messages that they have for us, that they're trying to teach us, the misconceptions that we hold and the ways that they want us to see them. I've developed deep love and connection with each and every planet through working with these books, through working with the moon phases and the cycles of the planets. And that's why I'm so passionate about astrology, and I am able to blend it with divination. And yesterday was a very real moment in time. And it was a very real full moment for me in particular. It was a moment where Spirit said, you took this chance once before, and I want you to trust why you're being called to this. I want you to trust me and what this is meant for. I want you to trust that this is meant to help others. And all I could do in that moment was trust and be as unbelievably, terrifyingly intimate and vulnerable with the world. Everything that I do here, everything that I do in my writing, everything that I do on my channel, everything that I do is 100% true to me. It is 100% who I am. And this person that I am, I have had to fight tooth and nail for. I have had to dive into darknesses and crawl my way out without any help. I have gone through trials and tribulations, and I have run the gamut of trauma and healing, medical illnesses, medical trauma and healing, every alternate healing modality imaginable, that aside from ayahuasca, I've never done ayahuasca. But I'm learning now that in those moments where it seemed as though I was being driven by a force outside of myself, a force that I had no control over, I have these moments where I look back and I wonder how I survived. I wonder how I was strong enough to get through it. I wonder how I had the willpower to hold myself back when I was in a state of self-harming and not cut too deep. I wonder how I went through a moment where I took an entire bottle of pills and then drank a 1.75 of whiskey and woke up the next day. I wonder about those moments because there's no explanation, a lot of it, for why I'm here and why I'm alive. There just isn't, beyond divine intervention. And so I have so much gratitude for spirit. Even if we argue like a parent and child, especially because we argue like a parent and child, I have so much respect for spirit. I am so damn grateful for each and every one of you, for the responses that I got, for the tears that were shed for me, for the ways in which me sharing something something that I would normally hide from the world, me sharing something that I would normally hide from the world, was able to help others feel seen and feel heard in ways that it's taken a long time for me to feel that way myself. I am so grateful for you all, for the emails that I received, which I have not yet responded to because I'm still letting all of it sink in. The level of love and support I got from the emails, the words that were so personal and so loving and so supportive and so very deal with the fact that you're gifted. My husband very much appreciates how much you guys took on the same stance he does. I am so grateful for you. And of course, leave it to spirit and the planets to remind me yesterday afternoon, after it all, of my last huge accomplishment. The one thing that I never thought I could do, because they say that you can never predict Uranus. And yet I sat down and wrote this book, and I am watching it play out in my life in ways and feeling the energy and witnessing it. And I feel blessed deeply for what I get to do for myself, for others, for this gift that I have. And because I feel so blessed about this gift, because I take it so seriously, because I care so much, and because every time I come here to film, every time I sit down to my computer to write a book, I pour a piece of myself into it. I pour part of my soul. I pour part of my heart. I pour part of my wisdom, but part of the reality of how things feel, how things look, how my gifts work, the ways in which it comes through the filter of some story of my life. And I'm asked to step again out of my comfort zone and share more of myself. These are the moments that I am grateful for. I'm grateful for all of you. And it was yesterday that this book showed up on my doorstep. My author copy of Uranus's retrograde guide book showed up on my doorstep. And my kids celebrated. And I just kind of sat there and did that thing I do where I kind of just look off to the I don't know, into nothingness, and was like, really, Spirit, like, your point has been made. Thank you. So that was how I wanted to start it. So now we're going to talk about the new setup. Obviously, I'm all set up for spooky season, because as this video comes out, it will be October 1st. And yay! Yay! I can't explain enough how much I love spooky season. I love spooky season. Spooky season is my favorite season. I love spooky season. Okay. So we have the spooky season set up. And something that I was noticing is we have these repetitive colors that are common for Halloween, common for spooky season. And it's orange and black and purple. And I got to thinking about the fact that there are chakras in this, but black is that color that encompasses all colors. It is the color that signifies protection. It is the color that signifies intuition and the divine feminine energy. And then you've got the sacral chakra and you've got the crown chakra. And something about the colors as I was setting up just struck me so profoundly that this season we use so often for shadow work. And it's a great season. Scorpio season especially is a great season for shadow work, but it's a really great season for allowing prior shadow work to become a transformation. And it wasn't until I was working through a lot, I did a lot of shadow work during Virgo season, a lot. Like every day I sat down with my shadow, every single day. If it meant that I spent more time with my shadow than I spent writing or than I spent filming during Virgo season, that's what I was doing. My shadow needed it, I needed it, but because it was Virgo season and Virgo is the ruler of the 6th house, it was such a beautiful energy to work with for doing shadow work, because you get that practical, analytical mentality because of Virgo. And then you get the reflectionary nature because of the Vestal Virgin and the mirror that's held up and Narcissus. And it's all of that energy is in all of the guidebooks. It would take me way too long. But you have that reflection, that mirror energy throughout Virgo season. So you can actually have this chance to see wounds play out for you through your interactions a lot faster, a lot easier, because you can analyze it a lot easier. And then the other factor is it's the 6th house, and the 6th house to me is always about finding the balance between self-care and service and care to others. We call it the house of health and work. But if we think about it as the house of work, then it can be the house of shadow work. With it being the 6th house, the number 6 is about unconditional love, balance, harmony, peace. And so it was, to me, it just made perfect sense. So I was doing that. And as I move into Scorpio season, I'm going to be working on that level of transformation from it. And I'm hearing that I should be teaching this. I don't know if somebody was thinking that, or if that was just spirit downloading. But I have been slowly learning the witch's runes. And I had this inspirational moment. I've got these lapis lazuli stones. I love lapis lazuli. If you didn't notice, like I wear lapis lazuli and sodalite every day. And then I've got my female and divine feminine, divine masculine, their balance and harmony bracelets here. And then I have just my make your wisest dreams come true. These are all self-created. So that's why they have them little labels. But what I'm going to do is during my readings, whether it's collective or pick a cards, I'm going to pull a rune and we'll put it in the hand and go over the rune together. It's going to set the tone, or it will be just kind of an extra message from spirit. And that's just something I wanted to do during spooky season, because they are witches' runes, and you know, this is definitely the season of the witch. It may just be in my own personal life, because I am a solitary practitioner, but it could, I just get this sense of like this awakening magic right now. So what we're going to talk about here, and I'm going to yank cards here so I can have something to mess with my hands and give you guys something to look at. as we're going to talk about the stone and what this reading is for. So this reading here, we're going to be talking about next week's transits. I don't want to go into super in-depth detail because you guys know how I can get incredibly detail-oriented with astrology. The biggest thing, I would love to say that the biggest thing is that first quarter moon in Capricorn that we broke down in the rising sign messages. I'd love to say that, but it's not. Actually, and yeah, see, I was reminded that that's actually when Mercury goes direct as well. That isn't the energy that's gonna be the most prominent this week. It's actually going to be towards the end of the week. So this is going to cover October 2nd through the 8th. And it's on the 8th itself that the energy is going to be the most pertinent for us to be aware of. It's like this energy that wants to call to us to become hyper aware of it. So this rune is the rings. And the rings on the most basic level is about connections, commitment, romance, not romance, but connection and commitments and getting married or getting engaged. But it also correlates to Venus. It also correlates to Libra. And I promise you guys, I did not look at it when I pulled it. It literally was like my finger could not leave that one stone. This needed to be talked about because Venus has moved into Libra now. And this changes the game because Venus is going to start opposing planets. First of all, Venus is going to start opposing Jupiter. And Jupiter is in retrograde in Aries. And Venus rules Libra. And so she has more power in this situation, in this interaction, than Jupiter does. Venus is going to ask us how our connections are empowering or disempowering us. She is going to push us to see how we view our inner world and whether our inner world and innate negativity is actually holding us back. Because that she does not want. Venus wants connection. She wants to be seen as the unique, beautiful planet that she is. But she wants you to know your value. She wants you to know your worth. She wants you to know that you are inherently capable of love because you are inherently lovable, because you are inherently loved in essence. That's what Venus wants you to know. So with the early energies being that moon phase that we're going to all feel super emotionally triggered and Venus in Libra, the emotional triggers are going to have a lot to do with connections, with beauty, with art, with our connection to ourselves, to our sacral chakra, to the things that we love, and asking ourselves really, like truly, what matters? Is it something that just makes us feel good for a moment, but isn't lasting? Or is it something that is true? Because if it's something that's true, it's going to mirror these rings. So you've got the 3 rings, and this almost looks like the Vesica Pisces card from the oh my gosh, I'm literally looking at it. Hang on. It's like the transmissions of the soul. It's the sacred language of light. There you go. I couldn't see the small little print. I don't know. My glasses might be dirty. But it looks like the Vesica Pisces card. And it's about 2 circles that were once separated are now coming together in union. And they're forming a 3rd circle. They're forming something new. Now, There's also, the other thing that I also get from that is there's actually there are third eye practices that you can do where you actually take 2 circles and you focus on them and you unfocus your eyes and you bring the circles together and then you see 3 circles. And then as you develop your third eye, the 2 outside circles fade away and all you can see is that combined third circle. And that's a huge energy as well. But with the rings, we still have all 3 circles. So we still have all 3 parts, but we do have the third circle is actually bigger than the first 2. Can't ever tell where my camera is. There we go. If you see, the third circle is actually bigger than the other 2. So you have, it's like when you get married. Okay, so when you get married, you have this person, and then you've got this person, and they come together and they form this marriage. But that doesn't change the differences that are there. And that's something that we're learning here. There's so much tension in this moon phase that we're being asked to think about the differences and how each difference that we have in other people, while they may seem triggering at a time, can really help us grow, can really help us move forward. Okay, so that's one of the things. But the biggest energy is actually on the 8th, which is right before that full moon in Aries, right before that cleansing full moon in Aries. So Pluto stations direct on the 8th. When Pluto stations direct, and my Pluto retrograde guidebook, I cannot for the life of me get out of my head the imagery, the memory, the messages that came out for Pluto's stationing direct and moving forward from there. I cannot get it out of my head because, and you know what? Hurricane Ian didn't help at all. So I'm going to go over just a little bit of it. If you want the full scope, check the book out. But I was getting this memory from when I was a kid, and I was at an amusement park with my mom and my brothers. And this was one of the very few family vacations we took. And we took them after my dad died in order to try and heal the wound that existed within all of us. And we're at this amusement park. It had been storming earlier that morning, serious thunderstorms. We were not expecting the park to be open. We just didn't expect it. The skies cleared, park open. So we went. Okay, yeah, great, awesome. It was super fun. It was so fun. Went to the water park section of it. Went on all the roller coasters. I was a roller coaster kid. I loved them. And then the skies started turning dark. I don't know if you've ever seen tornado clouds or a tornado sky. They say it's a myth, but every time that I've ever been in an area where there has been either funnel clouds or a tornado, it's happened. The sky turns this kind of sickly yellow and green color. When I see that color, just in everyday life, when I see that color, but especially when I see the sky turn that color, my stomach flips. It flips like your stomach does as you're plummeting down from that initial climb on a roller coaster. It's that stomach dropping out and you're just expecting the absolute worst because it's scary. That was the memory and the imagery. That was what I was getting. And that's happening at the end of this week. But the thing is, and see, these cards are coming out and helping us see what the lesson was that came through. Actually, on a much more physical level, because Pluto was all about creative, transformation. Pluto was so excited for the book when I when I did it, I was vibrating so high. It was outrageous. I was pinging off my walls. But the lesson that came through from it was about how there was so much panic. We watched funnel clouds forming over top of roller coasters with people on it. I mean, people were on the roller coasters, and these funnel clouds are forming over top of it. And you, like, in that instant, like right there, your first thought is, holy shit, everyone's going to die. It's a natural human thing. It is a natural human thing. You are watching the skies open. You are watching the might of the divine, the might and power of Mother Nature. And she is coming down hard, heavy, and angry. And there are people there over top of this massive metal structure. Your first thought is, oh shit. So that was my first thought. And I was only, I think, 11 at the time. But all the panic, all the turmoil of that day, the screaming, the lost children, the crying mothers. Trust me, it's a whole story in that, in the book. But all of that, every single piece of it, the overriding lesson was that it didn't happen. And that was the energy I was picking up, was that impending doom that doesn't happen energy. It's this energy of everything is going to fall apart, and then everything doesn't fall apart. That's interesting, right? That's fine. Thank you. So what Spirit wants us to talk about is this versus this. Okay. There is a lot of physical manifestation happening everywhere right now. People are trying to manifest blessings. They're trying to manifest, and it shouldn't surprise any of us. Right now, if you think about the level of catastrophe that Hurricane Ian was, we are collectively, there is a powerful force of people who have lost so much, who have been struck down, who the people who have really worked so much at everything feel as though it was taken away. And this Night of Pumpkins, you've got the bully who takes the candy from the kids. It's kind of like that's an energy I'm picking up. Not like Spirit wants us to be aware that there's this energy within the collective now that happens after every huge major disaster, where there is an underlying negative energy that we should be aware of. Because this underlying negative energy is the people who are suffering, the people who are in that struggle, the people who are at their lowest, their hardest, the absolute downfall point. And we should not judge or condemn them, because they're in pain. They're in pain. If you think about moments where you feel abandoned, you feel lost, you feel as though there is no help to be found anywhere. If you think about those moments, and then you think about applying those moments to Mother Nature, to the ocean, to the skies, to global warming, to the government, to the neighbor who had less damage, to this and to that, there are people right now that cannot help but feel these emotions, because these are the automatic emotions. Just like I talked about in the imposter syndrome, that automatic reaction. These are their automatic emotions, because feeling angry is so much easier than facing the pain. And so right now, there is this energy within the collective that's going to continue for quite a while, that we need to be aware of and be able to keep ourselves apart from. Because it could impact us. When you are attuned to collective energies, you're attuned to the people who don't know that they're attuned to collective energies, which means you can pick up energies that aren't yours, that we really can't do much for beyond sending love and sending prayers and sending supplies and resources and seeing what it is that we can do. But you can't change the energy right now. There is no changing that energy. There is only recognizing it and giving to it what you can, if you can, but knowing it and keeping yourself separate, because what they need from each and every one of us, above and beyond what they need from each and every one of us on a spiritual level, is for us to maintain hope where they have lost it, for us to be beacons of love where they cannot find it, for us to shine forth with these pieces that when in a wounded state, you're called naive, you're called immature, you're called deluded, you're called crazy and toxic positive and whatever. This is about holding to the awareness that there is a rhyme, a reason, a time, a place, and a cycle for everything. There is a greater reason for it all. And even if we're not privy to it, there is. It exists. And so what we can do is continue to be a light and to build what we are building based off of this light and hope in the world. Because there is so much conflict that we may feel. Astrologically speaking, the conflict is there. Absolutely. Especially in America. That conflict is tinged with pain, with desperation right now. And my heart seriously goes out to everyone in Florida. I love Florida. My vacation down there this past summer was so deeply profound and deeply healing. And I met so many people and welcomed so many people into my heart that this was hurricane season. It is just very difficult for me, as it is with my mother-in-law living down there. But now with all the friends and family that I have down there, it's a lot harder. But Spirit wants us to know that, yes, that tension is there, but that tension is there so that we can understand the light that we carry, so that we can find that one candle out of all of them, the one candle that is true to us, and we can hold that candle forth, and we can do that. It doesn't, I keep getting brought back to the whole, like in my video, I said, I don't want you guys to think of me as some like high and mighty ethereal being. And of course, Spirit gives the Ace of Candles. But this is inspiration, that one candle that is the true inspiration for us. Because if you look, this is Wands and Pentacles. And the background energy, the shadow energy, that's the mind. That's the mind saying these things. And I have to fight for my ideas. I have to fight for my place. I have to fight for who I am. I have to fight to protect it. I have to fight. There's just all this fighting energy. And it's because there's fear. It's because there's tension. It's because there are transitions occurring with the planets. When Pluto turns direct, Pluto is asking us to take every piece that we have transformed internally and start seeing the reality of the truths that came out and the awarenesses that we gained in the outside world. Last year's Pluto retrograde kicked my ass. It kicked my ass. If you guys noticed, both of these sections, both of the cards, they ended with Pentacles. They ended with the 3 and the 10 of Pentacles. They ended with whatever it is that we're building right now, when we maintain our light, when we maintain our inspiration, when we maintain our truth. Everything that we build right now will prosper. We are pulling together different connections, different pieces, and it's about opening the heart. It's about opening the heart and realizing how interconnected we all are. And there's always a beginning point for everything. We have invisibility with authenticity. Thank you, Spirit. And eternal love. Love is love is love. And it transcends physical death. I don't know how many times I say love is love is love. I say it all the time. And then we have vampire with emotional intelligence. Okay, Spirit. First of all, it is in the news, but there may be a lot of loss in Florida. And I am trying not to tap too much into it because there's a lot of pain down in Florida that I'm feeling, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. I know, I can feel it in the energy. But we need to remember that there is this invisible force out in the world that we have within ourselves, this ability to bring things together. Spirit, why the cloak? Why the cloak of invisibility? And yeah, I know, if you got the Harry Potter reference on that one, I get that. Okay. Nope. Okay. Sorry. I barely planned. Okay, let me shuffle these because I had all the regular cards. I barely planned what I was going to talk about. I just knew that Spirit wanted me to talk about the transits. I did not expect to talk about Florida at all. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm not really sure what we're talking about all together. I don't know what this is necessarily because it came in as a completely separate message because we were talking about what we're building moving forward. Why the eternal love? Why the physical death card? The 6 of Pumpkins, equality and rebalancing, or rebalancing of something. What is being rebalanced? Spirit, what's being rebalanced? Can you tell us what's being rebalanced? This card is bugging. These two make sense, but Spirit's not. No? Okay, so let's talk about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's talk about the invisibility, authenticity, and the vampire emotional intelligence. What is this message that just kind of cut us off collectively? 5 of Potions, Justice, and the Hierophant. Okay. We don't want to. I kind of want to. Yeah, I'm going to put that away. I don't know why. I don't. Okay. So here's the thing. Spirit is asking for us to become aware of our own emotions. Spirit is asking us to see where we block ourselves off, see where we bottle up our power, see where we bottle up what we know to be true. This is not about energy vampires. This is about, okay, so if you think about a vampire drinks blood. So if a vampire is drinking the blood, they can feel the emotions of the person. I want to say this is a True Blood premise. Yes, True Blood has this premise. If they drink the blood of a person and the person stays alive, they can feel them at all times. This gives a vampire a level of emotional intelligence they wouldn't normally have. They are attuned to that person. When you become this way, when you attune yourself to something, when you attune yourself to, say, the divine, when you attune, like I keep saying attune, and I keep picking up Reiki masters. Like if you're training for Reiki, please understand this does also apply to that, because sometimes when you are attuned to Reiki, there are things that come up that you don't expect. It can throw your body, it can throw your mind. It takes time. It genuinely takes time. You cannot rush the process. And half the time you won't even understand how it's working. It just is what it is. You have to flow through it. I don't know who needed to hear that, but that was a message. But when a vampire drinks from another person and drinks the blood of another person, they gain the emotional awareness of that person. Now, there is this energy of be careful what you're drinking from. Be careful what energy you're interacting with. I'll be right back. I'm going to let Willow out. She just finished napping. Okay, guys, I'm back. First of all, please do not feel any kind of fear when I say be careful what you're drinking from. It's not like a warning. It's this, Spirit wants us to be more aware. Wants us to be more aware of what goes on in our internal world and what goes on in the external world, and how those two interact, how those two impact each other. And part of the reason why you feel like, and part of the reason why I'm getting this energy, man, Pluto was so talkative, but there's something here. It's like for the sadnesses and the sorrows of the past, there's still this fear that torches and pitchforks are going to be brought out. Okay. I have not struggled this much with channeling for a collective message. So I'm going to ask here for you guys to take a deep breath, because there is a slight energy here surrounding witchcraft. And this is an energy I am familiar with, but I am not in anymore. It's something that I had to work through a couple of years ago. This is the energy of fear. And fear doesn't do us any good. It really doesn't. But there's this energy of fear that, and it's not necessarily about witchcraft. It likely is for some of you, but it's more like gifts, wisdom, intelligence, sharing, choosing the life you want, the person that you want to love, building the foundations that you want to build, having the connections that you want to have. There is some essence here of a fear of connectivity, a fear of never being seen as your true self, a fear of being ostracized, being condemned, of having the book thrown at you. It's very weird. I've never picked up this energy before. This reading really took a turn. I almost, I don't know, dude. I don't know. This is not a reading that I, like, my third eye is so pressurized right now. Okay. Yeah, see, I feel so uncomfortable because, like I said, I felt a lot of fear. Okay. I felt a lot of fear, and it was, everything locked up when this card came out. Everything locked up when this card came out, because it says, and it transcends physical death. It's an unnecessary fear. Okay. So now it makes sense. Okay. So remember, we're going to go back to Pluto and the imagery that I got with the funnel clouds. it was an unnecessary fear. Did we know at the time that it was an unnecessary fear? Not a chance. No. Funnel clouds, you know, you could take it at face value. That's one thing. You could take it at face value. But the potential of danger creates unnecessary fear. Spirit's asking us to change how we see potential. Sorry, I needed a sip of coffee. Spirit wants us to work together to heal, to work together to synergize, to blend pieces together. Alchemy, magic, just coming together. There's just this come together kind of energy. And a lot of people might pick it up as like, oh, twin flames coming together. What I'm getting is Spirit wants us all to come together and to stop hiding who we are, to stop hiding this true nature that we are, to stop running from who we are. You know, I was half afraid of putting it out there that I practice witchcraft. I know that I show shorts surrounding like kitchen witchery. But I have felt this fear that if I shared that, then, and there was nothing after then, really, but I just felt it. But Spirit is saying, as Pluto turns back direct, and with Pluto being at the critical degree of 26, Pluto's energy is going to be super strong for a while. It's just going to be. Pluto's going to continue to push forth through the changes that have been occurring since, 2008? Yeah, since 2008. Pluto is going to continue to push on this as the end of the time in Capricorn alone is ushered in. So this energy is going to be there. There is not a need, there is not a reason for us to fear, because when these things happen, when these transitions happen, that we can all feel coming in, we can all feel happening. When those things come in, when those things happen, it is for our healing. It is for us to come back together. It is for us to bridge pieces of ourselves and bridge ourselves to others and build together and maintain our own uniqueness. And that's what we're learning this week. And it, as you guys could see, like literally there are hiccups. There are stops. There are points where it's not going to make sense. And what's not going to make sense is going to be this feeling of dread, this feeling of fear. And Spirit is here saying it's unnecessary. It is an unnecessary fear that we are going to be holding on to. And we don't need to do that, because when you go through this kind of blending energetic healing that we're all going through cosmically, but individually in our own lives, when you go through this, fears pop up. Fears pop up so that you can actually bury them, and not bury them within yourself, but bury them in a grave and know 100% I'm done with it. It's the same as getting off the track, pulling those mindsets out, getting done with it. You're not invisible. When you are authentic, you are 100% seen. Okay, here's a quick and easy lesson for you guys before we close out. I genuinely considered just scrapping this whole video. I genuinely considered scrapping the whole video. Am I not attuned to the energy? Am I not open enough? Did I not, unnecessary fears. I couldn't figure out why I felt that way, because I don't feel that way when I channel normally. Until I started pulling the pieces out to see the 3 rings. So we've got the unnecessary fear that is going through a healing. We've got authenticity that feels like you're invisible. And now you're being brought forth to heal and synergize. To heal that fear. To heal that feeling of being invisible. To put it to rest by blending it together in a cauldron of your heart and healing and spirit and love. Because we had the 3 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles. Because we're building something beautiful in our lives and in the collective. Look at your life and see what you have built right here and right now. Not what you built yesterday, not not all the things that you want to build. Look at what you have right in front of you. For me, absolute right now, I built this. I built this. I built the theories. I built the connections. I built the formatting. I built this. From the ground up, I built these retrograde guidebooks. I built the Renegade Planet series. I built this. It is a feat of huge magnitude in my life, but I built it, and I am damn proud of myself for every single time I have come up against all my unnecessary fears, fought against them, allowed myself to be seen for who I am, and allowed for it to be a healing lesson for others. That's what I have in front of me. What do you have in front of you? It does, and don't make yourself small because you haven't done what I've done. I am not you and you are not me. We are here as a community to work together. So what is it that you want to do? And if you feel right here in this moment that you haven't done something, anything that you can feel proud of, then do something today. Stop letting these unnecessary fears put you into a grave that you don't need to be living in your life. This fear that you're invisible, this fear that you're never going to be seen, this fear that you can't see the truth of a situation, anything. Let that go. Because Spirit is saying, this is the time right now. We have healing in Libra, this ability to pull in pieces, to put them together, to heal them in such a beautiful, harmonic way, because that's what the energy is there for. And if we hold on to the fears, then the healing isn't complete. And that shouldn't elicit more fear. It should be, okay, that's great. Now I know I don't want to live in fear. Wow, those wanted to jump out. Yeah, they really do. You guys watch this. You literally watch this happen. Because this is one of those moments where I'm like, oh shit, yeah, this is why I can't shit can this reading. I can't shit can this reading, even though I'm a little insecure about the middle of it because I got nothing. There's something being rebalanced, but Spirit's just saying there's some balance coming in. Don't worry about it. Authenticity. Romance. Rings. Peace. Prosperity. Healing and fertility. I would have normally put all of these back, except I saw the healing card. I saw the authenticity card. Saw the prosperity card. This is what we're dealing with. This is the truth of what we're dealing with. This is what we're healing those unnecessary fears to get beyond for this. And I, myself, have been called here to show you where my healing is occurring. So that you know that you're not alone. So you know that when I sit here and I channel and I pull all this shit out and it looks haphazard and chaotic because, just touched Uranus's retrograde guidebook and Uranus is literally chaos for the sake of creativity. when it looks like this and when it gets really long and, I never know whether anybody is here at this point. So if you make it to this point in the reading, I want you to put 5555 in the comments because it is 5555 on the clock. So I want you to do that because that tells me that you really are there. You really are here. You really are here. You really are in a state where you are ready for these things because you stuck through a freaking crazy message. Like I can't explain it. I know when I watch this back, I'm going to be like, what the hell? But all of the cards are the same. All of the messages are what we've been talking about. This is a time where there is some excess energy in the collective because there's hard things going on. There are transits occurring that are going to make it feel very hard, but they are there for us to heal. They're there for us to realize where we've been holding on to unnecessary fears and holding ourselves back. They are there to help us see all that we have in our life. I asked you, what do you have in front of you? What pieces do you have in front of you? Are you going to choose the one thing here that isn't positive? Or will you choose one or all of the positivity that is scattered throughout? Because Spirit definitely is saying that's what you should do. Holy shit. 10, 11, 10. What are you, peace? 3, 5, 9. We skipped seeking. We went, it's kind of like there's a change in romance, a building of prosperity. Peace is just going to be continuing. And it's all very new beginning energy. It won't, like when I tap the energy instead of looking at the cards, it doesn't feel like a new beginning, but the cards are saying it's a new beginning, which tells me that with that 7 of lightning that came out earlier, that 7 of swords, that deception energy, it's going to feel different than what it is. So it's kind of like Spirit's doing a switcheroo so that you can see, so we can all see our own unnecessary fears, because Spirit genuinely is pushing for our healing, for our prosperity, for our peace, for the love and romance in our lives, for our awarenesses and our projects to be fertile, for our lives to be fertile. And I have no idea why my camera just did that. That was crazy. But take it as a confirmation. Like, this is what Spirit is pushing for. But we have to synergize with Spirit. We have to be on board with it. We have to surrender willingly to working with Spirit. And it's not going to feel that way because all the unnecessary fears are coming up to be purged out, to be moved beyond. That's what I did in front of all of you yesterday, right before I went and wrote 60 plus pages. I'm done filming. When I'm done filming, I am going to go and I'm going to write. While my video is uploaded and everything, I'm going to go and work on it. Because I want it out for you guys before this retrograde starts. I want you to be aware. I want you to work with this energy as best you can, because Mars retrograde is here to change the world in a beautiful way if we allow it. If we allow it. If you allow it, your life can change in a beautiful way too. Right now, through these transits, this week, there is so much we have available to us. So please, please use as much discernment as you possibly can throughout the week, because it will be your peace. It will be your healing. It will be your ticket to everything. And I love you guys so much. I really do. more and more as my community grows. I am so grateful for all the energy, because it expands further into awareness, into healing, into just beauty every time I touch it. And that to me is so amazing, because I know I recognize myself in the energy as well. I don't recognize myself in the messages, but I do in the energy. And that tells me you are my soul family. And I have been waiting for you guys a long time. All right, my loves, this is quite long, but that is how Spirit called it to be. And you guys know that I really like, if I'm going to channel and Spirit wants to talk, I'm here for it. I will give however much time Spirit needs. So, all right, my loves, if this resonated, hit that like button, comment. If you made it that far, if you made it this far, comment. Let me know. Put 555, 555, or 5555, that's what it was. Let me know down in the comment section below. Just essentially just that. But I'm going to leave you guys here. Do the YouTube things if you feel so inclined. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to notify yourself or hit the notification button so you know when I upload my next videos. Down in the description box, there is my author page, my author link. Even though Pluto is going direct, please know that these lessons, you have already gone through the energy, and it will help you to integrate more completely, so that, technically you won't have to do the excessive repeats. If we, that's a whole nother video. All right. I want to hug you guys because I'm so damn grateful for you. I gotta go. I love you all. Bye.